degrees. Partly cloudy sky with a few hit and miss showers and storms tonight. And overnight low will drop down into the upper 60s to low 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Cop CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Cop CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle. Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3,
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 17 days.
This hour of the Morning Rush is driven by Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale and online at rathmitsubishi.com. You're rolling with Rath on the Morning Rush.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Do you know how many times that the Razorbacks could beat a team like Boise State and be ranked if they wasn't in the SEC?
Why don't we just go ahead and drop down to the Sun Belt? We'll just play Arkansas State, North Texas.
Do you run your radio station to be number 2?
What won't you breathe to find temporal relief? Tell us your belief. Tell us what's your beef.
Live from the Busch Light Studios, this is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Tommy, did Melvin move from Sheridan to Sardis? I don't know how close those things are, but he called in from Sardis yesterday. Maybe he was working, maybe he was doing something, but that's not that we didn't take away some other things from his call on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, but that's one of the things that kind of stood out to me yesterday. Tommy, you there? Bueller? Hello? All right, Christian, what's going on? Tommy, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
Did Melvin move?
I don't know if Melvin moved or not. He is not happy about the state of things with football. That is clear. But, you know, Arkansas is nationally competitive in many other sports. And leaving the SEC, as he called for, to go to the Big 12, which is an old, tired argument. And it's a thing that's never going to happen. And you talk about setting your program back, financially and otherwise. I get the frustration. I'm with Melvin on some of these aspects, but quitting and going home is not the answer. You just got to get better. That's it.
Well, hopefully they can get better. It's a What's Your Beef Wednesday brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market. If you want to jump in here, Lewis Automotive Group hotline is open, 877-377-6963.
Yeah, Richard's Country Meat Market. You can put some great beef on the grill this weekend, whether it's bacon-wrapped fillets, gourmet burgers, fresh kebabs. Richard's has everything you need to make this summer a flavor-packed one. And, you know, we're not that many days or weekends away, not only from the first weekend of football, but that's also Labor Day weekend. So you need to load up for an extra day that weekend as well. Richard's Country Meat Market can get you everything you need, from a shrimp boil to a steak night, to the fresh kebabs, even the sides to go with it as well. Richard's Country Meat Market, 1 block east of College and Rolling Hills Drive at 3042 North Market Avenue, and online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
You know, I listened to Bobby Petrino, went about 26 minutes with the media yesterday. Also heard from Taylor Green and KJ Jackson. And when Petrino talked about this, it brought me back.
KJ didn't take driver's ed, so he don't know anything about aim high and driving. He didn't know anything about keeping my eyes down there and I see all this stuff. How do you get a license and don't go to driver's ed? I don't understand that. They taught me that. Aim high and driving. You won't hit everybody out there.
I remember one of the times Baylor Brad had a beef with his son, his firstborn, someone that he expected to have success on a driving test. So for those that have taken driving tests, I know it changes over the years, but back when I did it, which I guess was late 2000s, I guess it was, where you're trying to figure out, hey, how do I study this? What do I study that? There's the booklet and whatnot. The driver's ed facility that I had to take my test at, both the written and then also the driving portion, was about 25 minutes away from the house. It was a drive. There was not a closer location, so it was kind of a haul. It was about an hour back and forth for my dad to take me there. And so I semi-studied in high school, didn't really have to study, made A's and B's, was fine, got a 56 on my first B-Law test in college, figured out, I got to learn how to study. Well, similar type of thing with the driver's test. I take it, I think there was 25 questions, Tommy. I failed after 19. And so the whole way home, my dad's beefing with me. It's like, I just had to drive all the way out here. You didn't try. You didn't do this. You did that. And you know what? He was 100% right. He was 100%.
He wasted his time.
Yeah, I did. And as I listened to Coach Petrino say that about KJ Jackson, which kind of cracks me up, I thought back to that moment when I was, I think, 15 years old, which was 15 years ago, about how he had a beef with me that day. Now, I've passed it the second time, aced it with flying colors, because I actually invested the time, invested the energy, invested all that stuff. And then the driving portion, and my dad was freaking out because we'd only driven a few times together. And it's like, Dad, it's literally 4 right turns. I'll be fine. And that's exactly what it was. The written portion, Tommy, of the test was far more difficult than the actual driving portion. The fact that they pass kids nowadays and they pass kids 15 years ago with basically a 4-stop test is absurd. But that brought me back to a beef that my dad had with me years ago.
I failed 3 or 4 times on the written part.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It's not as easy as people make it out
I didn't
to be.
study until like the last time. I was like, all right, I got to study harder.
All right, so go back, if you can remember, 35 years ago or so. Do you remember you doing that? Do you remember failing, passing?
I went to the state police headquarters at Kelly Highway and 540 in Fort Smith, and I went with a friend of mine who I was riding home with him and his mom for some reason, and he was taking the test, so I just went in and took it too. Hadn't studied. I'd read the book briefly, and the one thing you had to do was the math on the stopping distances on braking distance. And I think that was the only question I missed. I passed it without studying.
Wow. Man. Did you really?
I did.
I don't think there's like many people out there, but because there's these distances like the fire hydrant from your vehicle or how close do you have to be to the curb. And in some cases, it's like 18 versus 12 inches. Like they try and get you. They try and trick you. They don't make it obvious. At least they didn't 15 years ago. I don't know what it was like 35 years ago. So you passed the written. Did you guys have an additional?
Well, that was to get my learner's permit or whatever. Then you got to, drive and do. That was when you were 14 or 15 to get your learner's permit. So
did you pass? It was the driving test as easy as it was.
That came later. No, because I think we had to parallel park.
See, they didn't even make us do that. And I don't, and maybe I need to ask a high school kid, a buddy's son or daughter, like, hey, what's it like now? What do you have to do now? But my dad was so concerned. It's like, you need to learn how to parallel park. And at the time, I wasn't good. Still not great at it, but I at least can do it now. And I'm like, Dad, it's 4 right turns. It'll be okay. He was just, again, he was kind of jaded by the fact that I failed and he had to drive 25 minutes out the first time. And I was like, just have some faith in your son. And luckily, at least on the driving portion, I came through.
So Petrino says aim high when you're driving. So he's talking about the vision. So getting back to football, I thought his 26 good minutes with Petrino yesterday, right in the middle of it. And if you want to go enjoy this for yourself later today, hitthatline.com, the Hit That Line Now app. Click on the YouTube button that's at the bottom. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll see the Petrino news conference there from yesterday. Ty, he spent about 12, 13 minutes in a row, just going position by position, player by player. And if you just kind of listened and just his thumbnail comments on each and every player, I thought were pretty revealing. Then at the end, he spent a little more time on his quarterbacks and Taylon Green, and I thought it was interesting. He was asking about his second year, and that Taylon Green's correcting wide receivers now. That when receivers miss the route or don't do their assignment, that he's correcting some of that rather than the coaches correcting that, which is exactly where he wants it to be. So he thought it meant more coming from a quarterback. But I thought the middle part, if you want to know where you're at with the offense, you want to know more than your buddies at the golf course about this team, go study that 12 or 13 minutes in the middle with Bobby Petrino. Go listen to that a couple times, and you'll know a lot about the offensive side of this football team.
Yeah, including the guy that's played for him before, in Raylan Sharp.
Great. He gets a step ahead of everybody because he's been in the offense and experienced it, and, been able to call plays for him before. He had a really, really good spring, and he's doing a good job. I'm just trying to push him harder. This is a tough conference and tough league. He's going to go against a lot of really good players, and he just has to push his speed down the field more. He's got great feet, and he's got great hands, and he's going to get open, and he'll do a good job of running after the catch.
I think a question I have, not just for Raylan, but for Cam Shanks, for Omega Blake, who I guess has been in the SEC at South Carolina, for all these wide receivers. I know Coach Pittman has talked about, like, Tesla and Armstrong, but it took him 2 years. Is there any guy on this roster that can do it in one, that can be the guy, that can be a bona fide SEC wide receiver in just one offseason? Because, again, Taylon's not back next year. You've got KJ Jackson, who they've said plenty of positive things, not just last offseason, but this season as well. Apparently him and Monte Harrison have quite a connection. But
yeah.
Can you expedite the timeline that we saw from Tesla and Armstrong, and hopefully one of these guys on this roster can do it this year?
And, I think what also gets a lot, Armstrong had an SEC leading season a year ago in yards, at least as a wide receiver. I don't know if you're going to get that kind of performance in year one. He talked about, first week was install. Now they're coming back refining. But they're right now trying to define, what are we really good at? What's going to be our identity? What are going to be the plays on 3rd and 4 that we trust? What do we really like on 1st and 10, 2nd and long? They're still trying to figure out who they are from an identity standpoint. I thought he spent, some time yesterday talking about kind of where they're at in the phases of practice. We're now, 18 days out? You're not there. You're not on the doorstep, but 2 weeks from Saturday it's here. There's still time to put more hay in the barn at this point.
We'll get more into what Coach Petrino had to say, KJ Jackson, also Taylon Green as well. I know people are excited about a second-year quarterback that you have, and we'll get into kind of some comparisons on other SEC rosters, what they have versus what you have at that position. But speaking of the quarterback position, we brought this up yesterday. John Mateer, new Oklahoma quarterback, transferring from Washington State. A lot of you have probably heard this story. Maybe some of you haven't. There was stuff that surfaced in the last 24 to 48 hours of his Venmo account with some payment descriptions that talked about sports betting with USC and UCLA. And I want to jump back into that here in our opening drive this morning.
Let's not treat this as a bigger deal than what it actually is. 2022, 3 Venmos look like they could be related to sports gambling. This doesn't move me, to be honest with you. It's a funny story. It's a very college football 2025 story that we're talking about someone deep diving a player's Venmo history and then having it spread like wildfire on social media. Let's use common sense when we approach this whole thing. He's a true freshman. He's 18 years old. Betting on games that it looks like he didn't play in. If we're going to go ahead and take those Venmo transactions at face value, I don't have a ton of energy for this.
This is the opening drive.
Tommy, I don't know if you caught Phil yesterday. He was going through like my Venmo transactions and other people's on the air a little bit, which I thought was pretty funny. But is this, so if you're an Arkansas fan and maybe you're hearing this for the first time, you're trying to make what you think about it the last few days, Oklahoma's not on your schedule. Now, Tommy, you don't like Oklahoma. You never have, never will. I don't know if you have a vendetta against the Sooners, but they don't appear on your schedule. I feel like our fan base would feel more strongly and I'm not even going to list the guys by name because I don't want to accuse them of anything they haven't done, but like a quarterback on your schedule, like you would want him suspended, right? For something like this. But because it's not necessarily a guy you play this season, I don't know just how do you feel about this? If it's true, if he indeed did this as a true freshman 3 years ago, is this enough to warrant a suspension of any kind if it is true?
You need to get some context on this. First of all, did it happen? Is it true? I don't believe anything anymore in this AI world where we can generate images of about anything and make them look very, very realistic, very authentic. I think authenticity is hard to decipher sometimes in today's world. So number one, I want to know, did it happen? Number two, I think I don't think you can just set an example as leadership in the sport that an act of this nature can go undealt with. I mean, the number one thing the people in charge of the game have to do is make sure the integrity of the game. And I know that sounds like an old man stance, but we got to know what we're watching on TV and what you're gambling on your phone is real, and that the effort is real. I don't think there's anything to the idea that these games he bet on were games he was A, involved in, B, had information on. Love to know if he won or lost those bets, but I don't think that that's really important. I think at the end of the day, and obviously if he was paying, he was losing, right? If he was having to send money, he was losing.
It looked like he lost twice and won once.
So at the end of the day, do I think he caused harm to the integrity of the game? No. But I don't think it can go undealt with or just swept under the rug or any kind of appearance like, it's no big deal.
Sam in Fayetteville, he shouldn't have done it, but it would be impossible to prove. It's a complete non-starter here in the Lewis Automotive Group. I feel, Tommy, I don't know if you feel the same way. I feel like a lot of our listeners would have a much stronger opinion for suspension if it was a kid that was on your schedule. Like, you'll play Oklahoma next year in football. And if you were playing them this season, I feel like just because it's not one of your guys that they're like, let's suspend him for the season, out for the game. If it's true and there's going to be some due diligence done on this and some findings of some sorts, I don't know, kind of like you're like, can this go unpunished? Again, it wasn't on the game himself, but as you stated, it's like you want the integrity to be there, and so you get into weird situations where, well, the kid bet on another game, but he didn't bet on his game. It's muddy water that the NCAA and others are trying to deal with when it comes to gambling and college and like professional. I think it has it figured out, but college, the scope it's harder to find some of this stuff, I believe.
Well, and it's so accessible now, and I still just have a hard time believing, even as a dumb freshman, you'd put the word sports gambling and the game. I mean, that doesn't even sound like a phrase, even if you were truly doing it. That's how I would describe it in my Venmo transaction. So, I mean, I still have a hard time, deciding whether or not this is real or not real. And we hadn't really heard one way or the other. But I'd be slow to act, but I'd be quick to gather facts. That's for sure.
Probably the way to look at it.
Yeah. All right, that's your opening drive this morning. It is brought to you by APAC and Standard Materials Group, 479-587-3300. If you need rock, asphalt, ready-mix concrete, or any other top-quality aggregates at your home or your job site. Maybe you're redesigning some things at home. Maybe doing a backyard makeover and you need concrete. Or maybe you're building a brand-new home from ground up. Call APAC for top-quality aggregates, ready-mix concrete brought in a hurry. And you're going to find the expertise with APAC and Standard Materials Group you won't find elsewhere. 479-587-3300. 587-3300 for APAC and Standard Materials Group.
All right, Tommy, we have a baby update. Are you ready for the baby update?
Yeah.
Rather than me give the update, let's go to the Lewis Automotive Group hotline and talk to our coworker, our friend, Colton Little. Colton, what's going on with Landry Carter Little, man? How are you this morning?
Congratulations.
Good. Hi, Tommy, Christian. Good to hear from you boys. Good to hear some familiar voices this morning. How's my connection? I sound good. I'm under the hospital parking lot, so I don't know.
Sound good. Fire away.
You sound tired.
Fellas, oh, God, I'm exhausted. Fellas, he is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the entire world. It was a surreal, breathtaking experience. My wife is a superstar. She did everything. We only pushed for about 20 minutes, had to stop because the doctor wasn't even in there when she was about to get this baby out. But we got everything good. He's healthy, 6 pounds, 1 ounce, a little bit scrawny, 21 inches long. So he's tall and lanky. I have no idea where those genes come from. But he is a beautiful baby boy. Just went back to get the banana peeled, and we're just waiting on that.
Let's go.
Man, that is awesome. So healthy, everybody's in great shape, and that's really all you can. That's all you can really pray for in these moments, man. We are so excited for you.
Healthy, in great shape. We have had the cavalcade, and the whole family village has made it down from Texas for her family. I've got family rotating in and out. We've got about 25 freezer meals that have been made by her family and mine that are ready to go for us for the next couple of weeks, and I mean, it was a great experience. As for, everything else that happens afterwards, it's, there's two types of husbands during this situation. It's like it's the above the equator and the below the equator. And, I got the bird's eye view of everything. It's kind of like, standing in front of your favorite bar and watching it burn to the ground, and you're holding matches in the gasoline tank. But, she is doing great. The baby is healthy. I could not be more excited. And, kind of makes me think, who the heck gives a crap about anything other than, this little baby boy. So super excited, fellas, and thank you guys for all your support and all your love. Appreciate y'all.
We got a few gifts for you when you get back as well, in addition to the ones already got. So you can thank Betty when you get back here, Colton.
Work that you're disguising as a gift or like project?
No. This is actual gifts. You'll have some work when you get back. You'll have some emails in your inbox. But no, there's some additions.
Hey, is anything? I've obviously not been paying attention. Anything happening in Razorback football that's I need to make me change my answer from 5-7 to 7-5?
Yeah, Notre Dame decided to forfeit. They don't want to come. They're scared. So you factor that in. Yeah.
Perfect. Hoping for that. All righty. Fellas, I know y'all are cutting close for time, so I'll let y'all get out of here, and I'll give y'all some more updates as they come.
Congratulations, buddy. Love you and your family, and so excited to add a new member to the family here on the Morning Rush.
Thanks, Tommy. Love y'all, fellas. Y'all keep it safe. Keep it rolling.
So I guess the next question would be whenever
he's ready for work now. He can come in today.
I'm gonna tell you, he's about 3 days away from begging to come back.
And I'm curious when little Landry makes his appearance in the Busch Light Studios at some point. Obviously, not going to consume a Busch Light for another 21 years, but when he comes in. So. Oh man.
So, well, that's awesome. I mean, nothing will change your life more than the birth of a child. So, I mean, new job, move across country, marriage, nothing will define you or change you more than that. So, hey, if you're looking for lunch today, Art's Barbecue, Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Put that on your list or your text group. Hey, where are we eating at today? Arts, Rogers Avenue. Best burgers in town. You're going to find them there. Great baby back ribs. If you want a pulled pork sandwich, they got that, and their sides are awesome as well. House-cut fries, homemade onion rings. They got the best green beans around as well. So you'll find it all. Arts Barbecue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. Call ahead to pick it up, 452-2550 at Arts Barbecue in Fort Smith.
When we come back, Hog Update. Hearing more from Coach Petrino.
Everybody's talking about Richard's Meat Market because that's my spot. And, of course, Richard and Chris have been around forever.
What's Your Beef Wednesday is brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
I'm based with you guys.
Evan Cohen here. La Quinta by Wyndham is deeply grateful for all our military members, veterans, and their families. They understand the dedication, sacrifice, and hard work that comes with serving our country. As a thank you, La Quinta offers 12% off standard rates, upgraded Wyndham Rewards, Gold Status membership, and preferred parking. They want to make sure your stay is as comfortable and rewarding as possible, and they're proud to serve those who serve. Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow you shine. Visit LQ.com to learn more about these special military perks and discounts. Restrictions apply.
It's what every kid dreams of, being from Little Rock or from the state of Arkansas, getting to go put that uniform on and play for your team.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey everyone, David Rath here with Rath Auto Resources. Since the state's giving you a tax-free weekend, we figured we'd do even better. 3 weekends of state sales tax paid when you trade, and all the weekdays in between. Just bring in your old car and upgrade to the road-ready certified pre-owned vehicle of your choice and get state sales tax paid. Get state sales tax paid when you trade, now through August 16th. Just another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, rathautofortsmith.com.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar.
Summer is finally here, and so are the road trips that you've had planned. That's why it's time to visit us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
Freshen up your golf game at the Golf Nut. We've got the latest apparel and head covers from Pins and Aces, plus new shirts and shorts from Red Vanley. Ghost golf bags are here in Sunday bag, carry, and card 14 styles. Zero torque putters are the hottest thing on the greens. Check out our models from TaylorMade, Lab Golf, and Odyssey. For precision on every shot, we've got rangefinders from Blue Tees and Bushnell. Visit the Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
A new era of chicken is here to stay, and it's not your parents' poultry. The Cantina chicken menu from Taco Bell is slow roasted and perfectly seasoned. Take it tacoed up in a crispy white corn tortilla with cheese inside and out, or wrapped in a burrito with fresh purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. However you like it, you'll never chicken the same way again. Get yours today at your nearest Taco Bell and join rewards to earn free food. Available at participating stores. Rewards points are earned on qualifying purchases. All items while supplies last. Subject to terms.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Since 1992, the Inn at the Mill has welcomed guests to experience the most unique place to stay when visiting Northwest Arkansas. Centrally located at the Johnson exit off I-49, the Inn at the Mill has established a rich tradition of comfort, convenience, and value. Whether it's the big game, business travel, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or a weekend getaway that brings you to Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious room with ample space to spread out. And when I'm there on business, I appreciate the fast, free internet to keep me connected to work, and the laid-back European-style breakfast to start the day. Experience unique and different at the Inn at the Mill, just off I-49 at the Johnson exit. Call 479-443-1800 to make your reservation. That's 479-443-1800 or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Give it up!
There's only one Razorback.
Uncle Tommy loves the Razorbacks.
Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those.
7 down.
This one belongs to the Razorbacks. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Colin. Alex has got room.
Everybody, Woo Victory. This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
I think it's the fun to have a quarterback back for another year because his experience and his ability to understand like that, instead of having to think for a second and then get it, so it all works a little faster and more explosive.
Bobby Petrino talking about Taylon Green entering year 2. He had a number of other things to say, which we'll get into throughout the show. Tommy, you kind of brought it earlier at the start of the show. He broke down not just each position group, but almost each player, like especially the wide receivers, he individually talked about 6, 7, 8 different guys. We'll get more into what he said about C.J. Brown. But I know a lot of the hope and expectation is not only just Bobby Petrino and Talon in year 2, but when you look up and down the SEC, I mean, there's just not a lot of second-year guys that have been in that school, man.
Yeah, and even talking about Courtney Crutchfield, the in-state talent that went to, Missouri, then transferred to Arkansas, not really in the physical shape they needed in spring, but has lost 15 pounds over the summer and made some plays in Saturday scrimmage that at least brought a note or a highlight out of Bobby Petrino's comments yesterday. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty granular about the personnel on the offensive side yesterday.
And it's Big C. What is it? Is Talon one of 6, 7 guys that are second-year quarterbacks of their school in the league?
There's 7.
Okay.
And I can name them off.
Rattle them off real quick.
So we got Talon Green, DJ Lagway, Garrett Nussmeyer, Blake Chapin, Lenore Sellers, Marcel Reed, and Diego Pavia.
I'm curious, Tommy. Marcel Reed has kind of flown under the radar a little bit. He didn't have a great game against Arkansas, still came out the victor. But I'm really curious kind of what he looks like in College Station, if he can kind of have a Lenore Sellers type of junk like he did last year in Columbia.
Yeah, I mean, and those second-year guys, it only matters, I think, and this is where I have a question about Talon Green. Yes, consistency with his quarterback coach and offensive coordinator and Bobby Petrino, but not a lot of consistency or carryover with the people around him. So you're starting over with wide receivers. You're starting over in a great way with running backs. Offensive line's not a complete rebuild, but you feel better and more comfortable there. But, I don't know that stability and the things that we look for in carrying one year over to the next matters anymore. So, I mean, it's one thing to have a coach and carry that relationship and the terminology and all those things forward, but everyone else around you's got to learn it, and that's where he's at with his wide receivers.
Well, you mentioned running backs. I know that's been a position, particularly a player that's I feel like has been tossed about the most in the offseason is Mike Washington. Here was Petrino on him.
You get a running back that can take it the distance, so that was fun. You don't have to call so many plays when he can take it and go score. Flashes a Niall Davis out there faster than anybody else on the field, so that's fun. That's really enjoyable.
You probably caught it, but just in case you didn't.
Flashes a Niall Davis out there.
I mean, Niall, Tommy, we talk about Ryan chucking it to Jarius and Joe and Greg and Chris Gregg and DJ in 2010. But Niall had over 1,000 yards in 2010. Probably would have done it in 2011 if he hadn't gotten injured before the season. He was an unbelievable SEC big back that had the speed. When you think about that touchdown run he got going against Mississippi State in Starkville, there's a lot like the LSU could not stop him in 2010. Any comp to Niall Davis, if you're Mike Washington, you got to take that with some compliments, I would think.
But we're still practicing.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
We're still practicing, and some of this for not just Washington, but players at other places, it has to be done on an SEC field. Even games 1 and 2, to me, aren't the litmus test. Now if you can't do it against those teams, I think we have a much clearer picture about where we're at. But I don't think I'm being overly skeptical to say, hey, I want to see it in Oxford before I get too excited.
It's the same thing as Stillwater last year. No one cared what happened in game 1 last year. The only reason you'll care about game 2 is if you lose. Then you're going to look around and say, what the hell just happened? But if you have production, if you somehow win that game in Oxford week 3, then you will open up and change your expectations, not just about Mike Washington, not just about the offense, but what Arkansas football could be in 2025.
Would have been nice having Mike Washington last season. I didn't realize, he was available. They just kind of, I guess, overlooked him last year, just, with the injuries to Jaquindon Jackson and those players. So,
yeah, Petrino kind of joked about that.
That was a stupid idea by me. It wasn't working.
He laughed a few times yesterday, Tommy, which I'm not necessarily accustomed to seeing. You can read into that what you will, but oftentimes I haven't seen many smiles on Petrino's face over the years.
I thought he was just normal Bobby Petrino, but he did have a few lighter moments, but that's about as jovial as he is going to get. And was it Talon there at the end? He was talking about, I think it was, Comes in very stone-faced, not a lot of smiles, not a lot of frowns, but
It was Washington.
Washington, okay. I just remember him talking about, a player that, just very even kill on his emotion, kind of like Petrino, very even kill.
All right, that is your Hog Update here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. Hog Update, always brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Tommy, we had this beef from JT in Hot Springs earlier in the show here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. His beef is with his doctors. They took me off some kinds of medicines because I have a knee surgery on Monday. I'm hurting so much, and I still have 5 days without the pain pills till surgery. Well, JT, I can agree with you on that. My parents took me off. I don't know, or Demerol, hydrocodone, like a day or two after I had my ACL, and I had like a 14-day prescription. And they're like, we don't want you to get addicted, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, they literally prescribed me for 2 weeks. Let me have the pills for 2 more weeks. And I was just stuck with Advil and Tylenol, which did not get the job done. So I feel for you, JT.
Yeah, that's tough stuff there, particularly when your body's used to it. So hopefully you get through whatever you're going through there, JT. We wish you the best because that's not easy. So not at all. Hey, a reminder, we'll be at Hardee's on Friday. $1.49 sausage biscuits. $3.50 Monster Burgers also during the show. You can get those $1.49 sausage biscuits all morning long on Friday at Fort Smith and Sallisaw area Hardee's locations. Ty, on Saturday, we give away the football trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, best trip we've ever given away. Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, Raiders and Cowboys. We have 23 people that have qualified, 23. So this is going to be the biggest contest we ever had for the best football trip we've ever had, brought to you by Hardee's. When we come back, Morning Rush Daily Question is next.
Everybody's talking about Richard's Meat Market because that's my spot, and of course Richard and Chris have been around forever.
What's Your Beef Wednesday is brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
I'm based with you, Ty.
Fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt. We're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville, your headquarters for all things Razorback.
From clothing items like Nike, Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many more,
to a wide range of home, office, and fan cave decorations.
We even have furniture, a pool table, stuff for the yard, garden, and too much other stuff to mention.
So no matter if you're headed to the game or watching from your living room, stop by the Stadium Shop at 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville. That's 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Choice is the ultimate luxury, and now it's yours with Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. Choose from the $5 Classic Box, loaded with lavish classics, the $7 Supreme Box, packed with decadent faves, or the $9 Discovery Box, now featuring the indulgent cheesy street chalupas. That's Lux. For less. The $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes, only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Roback's got the gear for your perfect summer days.
Summers nipping on the run. Now the beachfront nights, 5,000 thunderstorms. Won't you kiss me, darling? Tell me that you're gonna stay. Yeah. Give me those East Coast summers, Maryland to Maine. Now the seaside.
Shop polos, hoodies, Q-zips, and much more in the American Summer Collection at Roback.com.
Roback made finding the perfect pair of pants or shorts much easier. They're a clean fit with comfortable premium fabric. They look great on and off the golf course. So shop at Roback.com for the Delta pants and shorts.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
Hey, it's Colton Little. Been trying to kill a little bit of time at work, so I logged on to MyBookie, and as the clock has ticked by, I've already made money, and I've already had a good time. They've got tons of great stuff on there. I'm talking about blackjack, roulette, live dealers, poker, and a full lineup of slots. They didn't make me download an app. All I had to do was just log in, made a quick deposit, and then I was playing games and winning money. If you're thinking about checking out MyBookie, you should have done it yesterday. Use the promo code HOGS, and they'll toss you a nice deposit match of up to $1,000. And now you can bet on the Hogs all season long with
Credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
Summer is finally here, and so are the road trips that you've had planned. That's why it's time to visit us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Time for the Carpat Social Morning Rush Daily Question.
All right, you men. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer to the best of your ability.
It's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Check out Nate and Christian's Place in Lowell online at carpatsocial.com.
Are we at the point we're becoming more naturally positive about the season? That's the Morning Rush Daily Question. I was listening to Chuck and Bo this morning. They had Kool-Aid Corner, which I thought was fun. We're listening to Bobby Petrino. We're feeling better about the team. Same thing with T-Will a few days ago when he spoke. All the news we get out of camp is overwhelmingly positive. Basically, the only bad news you're ever going to get out of a camp at this point, Ty, is when there's an injury. We had news of that nature. Are we becoming just more natural? And I'm talking about the fan base as a whole, not necessarily you or me individually, but the old, it's our job to have our thumb on the pulse of the fan base. It feels to me like we're becoming a little more, naturally positive 17 days out.
Yeah, I think this happens every year. I think Arkansas fans feel like, so you outdid expectations in 2020 through Sam Pittman. You definitely did in 2021. You could argue they were a year early. A little bit of a letdown in 22, definitely one in 23. Got back into at least the reasonable conversation in 24. You're hoping for more. So, as an Arkansas fan, and this isn't just this is Bielema, this is John L. Smith, this has been going on for over a decade. It's not all on the shoulders of Sam Pittman, but you feel like that you've been let down more than you have overexceeded expectations if you're looking at the football program. So while I think we maybe get more positive. Well, if this works, if this guy doesn't get injured, this happens, then then maybe they could get 7 or 8 wins. But I still feel like the past precedent in history leads people to believe that the bad stuff is going to happen again.
Let's wait till it happens.
Yeah, and I don't think that's being negative to say that. And I'm in that camp. But just listening to the callers this morning with Chuck and Bo, I think people are uplifted a little bit. They are encouraged, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing bad has happened at this point for you to react to. Why borrow trouble you don't have? No one in Nashville, Tennessee thought Vanderbilt was going to be worth anything last year. Did they exceed expectations? I'd say so. Did South Carolina exceed their expectations? For Arkansas to do that, it's not going to take this mighty feat of winning 10 or 11 games.
He's got wins.
If you're in Alabama or you're in Georgia, if you're in Austin, Texas, you've got to win 11 games to meet expectations.
9-3.
Mm-hmm.
8-4 would bury most people's expectations. Let's not act like this is like we've got to find the cure to polio here. We're not going to be the first person to put the polio dead virus in. We're not going to take that leap of faith here. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to cure a nasty disease. We're just trying to win 8 games to meet or beat most people's expectations.
Going back to the 40s. Text here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Billy says, not positive, just numb. Paul in Fort Smith, after years of being given a smokescreen every year, I'm more skeptical. And then Jesse is on the side of positivity, saying I'm guzzling the Kool-Aid. I got asked this yesterday. It's like for Arkansas to maybe get 7, 8, 9, what have to happen? And it's like almost everything has to go right. And in order, like Arkansas doesn't have the advantage of depth as some of the schools you just listed out in Tuscaloosa, Athens, Baton Rouge. So you can't have injuries. You got to win the one-score games, which they haven't done the last 3 years. And you just got to have some luck, which you could argue they haven't had since 21. If those areas happen to bounce your way this year, then yeah. But you're just asking a lot.
But don't you make your own luck?
Yeah, you do. But it also helps when you have more talent on the roster and on the field, which Arkansas doesn't have. When they go up against the teams they're going to face this year. Like, if we go through so you got more talent than Alabama A&M. You got more talent than Arkansas State. You don't versus Oxford. You do over Memphis. You don't over Notre Dame. You don't over Tennessee. You don't over A&M. Probably don't over Auburn. You do over Mississippi State. And you definitely don't against the last 3.
Well, perceived talent. But also talent doesn't always win, or Vanderbilt wouldn't have beaten Alabama last year.
That's true. That is true.
All right, and Arkansas only needs 1 or 2 of those and hold serve in those other games to meet or exceed. So I think people are naturally becoming a little more positive. That's your Morning Rush Daily Question. It's brought to you by Cart Pass Social.
Yeah, and we got a couple callers that we'll get to in just a sec. Cart Pass Social, great place that you can hang out with your friends, your family, your coworkers. I know we got a lot of people that listen in Northwest Arkansas. Maybe you're a manager, maybe you're an owner, and you've been looking for a place to reward your team for a great quarter 1 or great quarter 2. Maybe you got a strong quarter 3. Well, Cart Pass Social is the place to do so. Go to cartpasssocial.com. You don't have to be an avid golfer to enjoy it. They've got TVs everywhere. There's over 1,000 different courses you can play. They've got like a mini putt green in the center of it. Again, 2 Rogers guys, Christian Olson, Nate Garahan, 2 of my college buddies that have put together this awesome facility. cartpasssocial.com. It is always BYOB at Cart Pass Social. Kevin's been patiently waiting here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Kevin, your thoughts to Tommy's question about kind of the positivity we're at 17 days out.
Hey, Tommy. Hey, Ty. Hope you all have had a good summer. It's been a bit. Yeah, I do want to talk about that, and then I had another comment about what Tommy was talking about, second-year quarterbacks. Hey, I'm extremely critical. I mean, most people that have played those sports are typically more critical. But I told Phil and Matt 3 weeks ago, I made a crazy prediction. I believe they'll win 9 games this year. I'm looking at some things. I've seen some things. I know that you probably both think I'm crazy, but that's not typically. Typically, I would be the guy that would say 5, 6 wins. But there's just something different. Some changes in the coaching staff, some position stuff. I believe it's going to be a 9-win season. And I may be crazy, but that's what I'm looking at. I've looked at games. The biggest thing about the schedule is you have to look up and down it, and, excluding Notre Dame, what teams and you talk about the conference. Okay, what do you have to do to go in conference? So that's saying you're going to lose 3 conference games. You got to win all the others. But you got to pick those games where historically we've either played them well or we have beaten them in the past. And the schedule's kind of set that way.
So A&M,
there's not a team.
A&M, Missouri, and Ole Miss, the teams traditionally you played tight, close, but you haven't necessarily. And Ole Miss is not as lopsided as the other two, but you think they might go Arkansas's way this year?
Yeah, they're going to beat Missouri by 2 touchdowns this year. You wait. The game's up here. You wait, right?
Love it.
Yeah. And Tommy, you know me, I'm critical. It wasn't a month ago. We're talking about Gus. I was asking questions about, hey, when we win 4 or 5 games or we lose to Arkansas State. I mean, I've just totally flipped. And, hey, I'm a big Gator guy, too, so, we got a kind of the same boat because I got family down there and people that work in the athletic department. And so it's kind of 2 similar teams with talented quarterbacks. We'll see how it goes. Tommy, what I wanted to say is I totally agree with you when you're talking about second-year quarterbacks, bringing them back, because that does not even matter. I mean, if you look at, Georgia wrote the book on second- and third-year quarterbacks, and they were not NFL quarterbacks. Let's be honest. It was talent around them. It's talent. As great as like Tebow was and some of those Alabama quarterbacks, they had NFL talent surrounding them. Not taken away from the talent, because I love all those type of quarterbacks. But they had extreme talent at those skilled positions. If you have average to below average, very seldom do you see a quarterback, unless you're, Cam Newton. He might have not had that total NFL stuff all the way around him, maybe than a couple of running backs, but I just wanted to say that. I think I agree. I mean, it's definitely a fact. You've got to have talent around them. Scheme won't always win because there's always someone else that's got a better scheme. And that's all I want to say, and enjoy the rest of the summer.
Kevin, thanks for the call. Will Gus be an SEC slayer in week 1? Florida State and Alabama out of the gate? He's offensive coordinator at Florida State. You can't say he didn't have their number a little bit at Auburn while he was there. Wouldn't that be a storyline if Gus is the new OC at Florida State, took down Bama? And
their quarterback sure thinks.
Yeah, well, their quarterback shot any upset to hell when he talked trash in the offseason. And you're right. Gus beat Nick 3 times, I think, at Auburn. And if you
one was the kick 6.
Yeah,
but,
one was the kick 6. The offensive, if you want to count him as an offensive coordinator, 2010 when he had Cam Newton, you could say 4. But, yeah, he traditionally had more success against Nick Saban than a lot of other people have. But for those that don't know, the Boston College transfer, now Florida State quarterback, and Christian, you might have to help me on his name.
Castellanos.
Castellanos said some idiotic things in the offseason, and every Bama player heard it, and now they're going to eat him alive, I would guess, in that game. I could be wrong about that, but I don't expect Alabama to lose that game. Ryan is in Hot Springs. He's got Arkansas at 8 wins this fall. Ryan, go ahead, man.
Hey, buddy. Well, I also wanted to make a comment, too. Y'all were kind of talking about the last 3 years and kind of what they were or whatever. On paper, you kind of got it. Also, I got a fishing thing I got to tell Tommy before I get off here. I do got to tell him about something right quick that just happened this morning. But anyway, a lot of the media, the national media, had Arkansas going 4-8, 5-7, and they went and won 7 games. So you kind of got to say last year was a little bit of a kind of overachieved a little bit last year. Not necessarily saying the way they did it was good, but I'm just saying I'm just talking about the preseason expectations, if that makes sense.
I think it's fair.
Because sometimes, because that can change. Because expectations, like what we talk about, can change mid-season. But and I didn't get to tell y'all. Y'all may find it crazy. Part of the reason why I'm not predicting 9-3 is I don't like what we've done against Auburn when they've come to Fayetteville. The 2 times that they've come to Fayetteville, we were the better team, and we just absolutely boo-booed the bed against them. And I don't feel good about that game. And that may change kind of depending on where the team is at when we play them. But as of right now, I'm just in the previous history. I don't like us. I don't like that as that kind of the letdown game of the year for us.
Yeah, road teams. Ryan, sorry we got to cut you off. We're running up against a break. Tommy, road teams in that series have had a lot of success. So don't be surprised if Auburn comes here with the chip on their shoulder. Depending on kind of where the Hugh Freeze situation is at the middle part of the season.
It'll be a pivotal game for him in the future of of his tenure at Auburn as well. It's a What's Your Beef Wednesday. What's grinding your gears this middle of the week? First day back to school. Was it school line traffic? Was it getting through and navigating that? Maybe you've already got a beef about that today. What's Your Beef Wednesday? Brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Whether it's bacon wrap fillets, gourmet burgers, or fresh kebabs, Richard has everything you need to go on the grill this weekend and for the upcoming college football season. That's Richard's Country Meat Market, 1 block east of College and Rolling Hills Drive at 3042 North Market Avenue in Fayetteville. Always online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with RD like Tommy said. Stay with us. It's the Morning Rush.
Designed by Jason Christie, the Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait doesn't just bring the fight, it dominates. Choose from 3 blade options: Colorado for maximum thump, Willow for bright flash, and the one the pros won't talk about, the Oklahoma blade. Perfectly balanced for subtle vibration, multiple flash points, and unmatched versatility. The Oklahoma blade is your secret weapon for pressured waters. Precision engineering, tournament proven, and one mission: dominate. Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait, here for one thing.
Fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt. We're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville, your headquarters for all things Razorback.
From clothing items like Nike, Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many more,
to a wide range of home, office, and fan cave decorations.
We even have furniture, a pool table, stuff for the yard, garden, and too much other stuff to mention.
So no matter if you're headed to the game or watching from your living room, stop by the Stadium Shop at 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville. That's 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville.
Or call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
or stop by the interweb store at shoponrazorback.com.
Whoa, that's a first, Dad. You actually got it right. How'd you do that?
Well, I use that Googleator thing.
And we're back.
Anyway, that was shoponrazorback.com.
The largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, and I have a plaque to prove it.
Folks, it just does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
Need a new fence but not ready to pay all at once? The Fence Man, serving Fort Smith for over 40 years, offers 18-month financing so you can secure your home or office now and pay over time. Free quotes, custom designs, and the expertise to accomplish what most can't. Call 479-782-3936 or visit thefencemanAR.com. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey everyone, David Rath here with Rath Auto Resources. Since the state's giving you a tax-free weekend, we figured we'd do even better. 3 weekends of state sales tax paid when you trade, and all the weekdays in between. Just bring in your old car and upgrade to the road-ready certified pre-owned vehicle of your choice and get state sales tax paid. Get state sales tax paid when you trade, now through August 16th. Just another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, rathautofortsmith.com.
Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, it's Matt Jones. If the weather has raked your roof and you need a roofing company you can trust, call my friends at Patriot Brothers Roofing. They are licensed, bonded, insured, and lifetime River Valley residents located in Van Buren.
Thanks, Matt. We are also the only roofing company in the River Valley that installs a full CertainTeed integrity roof system and registers a 50-year warranty directly with CertainTeed. Avoid the door knockers and storm chasers. We are local and we will be here long after the storm chasers are gone.
Check out PatriotBrothersRoofing.com or call 479-652-9479.
Patriot Brothers Roofing, because your home deserves only the best.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richard's paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
We all make plans for the future, but car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call Wade Gilkey or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see sunny skies, a chance of seeing some scattered showers and storms. Our high temperatures today will be into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. Partly cloudy sky with a few hit and miss showers and storms tonight. And overnight low will drop down into the upper 60s to low 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Cop CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Cop CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 17 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
Do you know how many times that the Razorbacks could beat a team like Boise State and be ranked if they wasn't in the SEC?
Why don't we just go ahead and drop down to the Sun Belt? We'll just play Arkansas State, North Texas.
Do you run your radio station to be number 2?
What more you breathe to find temporal relief? Tell us your belief. Tell us what's your beef.
Live from the Busch Light Studios, this is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
All right, it's hour number 2 in the Morning Rush. Tommy asked a good question, our Cart Pass Social Morning Rush daily question heading into break. Feeling more positive this time of year, 17 days out from the opener against Alabama A&M. We got mixed feedback. Got a text here from Brad here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. It'd be nice to get a scheduling break every once in a while. Missouri has been in a better position with their schedule yearly. Arkansas has a top 5 schedule every single year. Will that change next year where the SEC schedule is supposed to flip up? Well, Tommy, you're going to have to play Alabama and Georgia next year. Hopefully you split Tuscaloosa and Athens. Hopefully you don't have to go both in the same season. You'll play the Florida Gators, which I don't know what that team's going to look like next year. You will play Kentucky, which will be nice. You'll play Vanderbilt. Who else you got? Oklahoma, and then South Carolina. That'll be your schedule for next season. Don't know what it looks like on the road versus at home, but those will be your opponents in 2026.
I would think you get Oklahoma at home since you're getting Texas on the road. I'm not, you'd have to go examine their schedules as well, but you can't get too far ahead of yourself on what schedules down the road look like, because I'm a believer that 9 conference games is coming at some point, and all of this schedule, and then you're going to have to figure out a new formula and a new way and a new rotation once again, and an unbalanced schedule that I promise you Razorback fans won't feel is a good move for them either. Wouldn't surprise me the league didn't put us on the road 5 times, or on the road 5 times and home 4, and 2 out of 3 years.
If I remember correctly, you get Memphis at home, and I think Utah and Salt Lake City on the road next season. So we just mentioned the conference schedule, and I think you have 2 two cupcakes for your other non-conference games. But I think that's the setup for 2020.
Yeah, Utah won't be one, so that'll be a tougher game next year. Anyway, let's get this year going before we worry about next year. What's Your Beef Wednesday, brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market, 3042 North Market Avenue in Fayetteville, online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com. They're bringing flavor to your summer and to your Labor Day weekend, as we're just a few weekends out from the opening weekend of college football. Man, it's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday feast that weekend, and you can get everything set up. Maybe a shrimp boil one night, big, thick bone-in ribeyes one night. Maybe you do some baby back ribs. They've got it all from fresh fish to great seafood to steaks and prime beef and more. Maybe a brisket or some pork butts. They've got all of that. Maybe thick pork chops that are bone-in as well. Richard's Country Meat Market, 479-443-0000 to place your order, or go to richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
Arkansas did get some positive recruiting news earlier this week when Tay Lockett announced that he was moving from California to Conway. And I know that was a big recruiting story. Richard Davenport, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, now joins us. Richard, we've seen players leave to go to prep schools like IMG Academy. You think about a lot of basketball players here recently in state that have gone elsewhere, but this is a pretty rare thing to have a kid move in before he goes to Arkansas, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot, especially a kid obviously from out of state and in California. But he has so many family members in the state of Arkansas because his mom is originally from Little Rock. So I know that I don't know which family member he'll be living with, but I mean, as far as his family, the vast majority of his family is in Arkansas. So he's always been coming to the state, since as a kid, and a lot of times during the summer he's been in Arkansas, spending time with family. So this is not a big shock, but at the same time he was part of a successful program in the San Diego area, but decided to transfer to Conway. I mean, I think having Buck James as a head coach is a big consideration here, knowing that he's going to play for a guy that's won several state championships and is a very respected coach, and it'll give him the opportunity also to be able to just go up to Fayetteville anytime he wants to. It's a pretty notable thing. You don't see that very often.
You mentioned Buck James and Conway. Richard, we talk about games we're looking forward to on Arkansas's football schedule this fall. Is there any high school games that you've already kind of marked on your calendar with maybe some notable recruits that you're anticipating on being in attendance for this fall?
No, I would imagine maybe the Bentonville Conway game. I don't know where it's going to be played, but you got two Razorback commitments at receiver for Bentonville, and then obviously you got Tay for Conway. That'd be an interesting matchup, but haven't really looked in depth just yet. But when you think about matchups, you would think that would be a one that will get a lot of attention just because. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there just because of the three future Razorbacks.
Yeah. Richard Davenport with us here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Is it too early to start thinking about official visits and guys coming on campus? Will there be a decent number for the Alabama A&M game, considering it's 3:15 and maybe a less desirable opponent? What are you hearing from guys and their parents as you talk to them about the first home game in less than 3 weeks?
Really haven't reached out to many kids just yet, because a lot of times we're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old young men. They don't think ahead too often, and they usually make the decisions whether or not they're going to be at a game the week of. Even though I'm sure there's a few that have already made that decision to be at the first game. But you're right. Being a lesser than appealing game is you probably won't see a big turnout for that. and kids will be focusing on some of the bigger games. Obviously, Notre Dame being one of them. So it's kind of early right now, but I would imagine Tay Lockett will probably be there, and obviously some of the local guys that are committed to them and being recruited by them.
Yeah, you mentioned the Notre Dame game. I saw a clip last week with Hunter Yurachek, and he's less than satisfied with that game being an 11. I think a lot of fans are that way. We talk often about how that hurts your ability to recruit, but is Notre Dame a big enough opponent? Is that going to be a big enough day that even though that game's at 11 a.m., you'll still have a good amount of recruits? What's your senses say about that weekend, late September?
Yeah, it motivates some kids that normally wouldn't attend 11 a.m. game to attend. The biggest challenge, obviously, is the kids 6, 7, 8 hours away. That's a chore because if you're that far away, you're having to leave at 2, 3 o'clock, or even 1 o'clock in the morning to head to Fayetteville to be able to attend. I remember there was a kid in South Arkansas showed up for an 11 a.m. game, and I think they left at around around 2 a.m. to get to Fayetteville. I mean, that's pretty brutal, especially for a kid that just finished playing the game, and also his parents. Nobody, the parents getting very, very little sleep, if any, because they had to go attend their son's game, and then maybe an hour or two later hit the road. So it's a challenge. It's definitely one of those that when you have a 2:30 game or later, it makes it so much easier for kids that are coming from longer distance. But somehow kids will try to figure out a way to. Not all kids, obviously, but a good amount of kids will try to figure out a way to somehow make the game. And then if you live in Atlanta, I don't know what the schedule is as far as the nonstop from Atlanta, whether or not it gets in early enough on a Saturday morning. But that's if you're lucky enough to live in a market that has a nonstop to Fayetteville, gets in there early, it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, Fayetteville has a pretty decent amount of nonstops, but nothing like a bigger market, obviously.
Bring on Southwest, baby. Bring on Southwest to XNA. Let's get more nonstops here in Northwest Arkansas. Richard Davenport with us here on the Morning Rush, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. RD, just looking at freshmen this season, I know Antonio Jordan's name's been mentioned. Scott Starzik is probably going to win the kicker job. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be the starting kicker this fall. Tavion Wallace, is there a freshman that I missed that's going to have an impact, do you think, in his initial year here in Fayetteville?
I think Kevin Otis may have an opportunity to see the rotation. He's a freshman. He was a 4-star by ESPN and Rivals, coming out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He played in the Under Armour All-American game. I think he's one that you could see on the field, which is somewhat unusual for a lineman. But if a lineman's going to see the field, it's usually a defensive lineman versus an offensive lineman. So I'd keep an eye on him. I think you're right on Tavion Wallace. He'll get into the rotation a little bit, if not quite a bit. It just depends, obviously, how he plays early part of the season. But if not, he'll see some special teams play. But somebody that's not a true freshman, but that I think that could definitely see special teams and also possibly get into the rotations. White Simmons from Harding Academy. So he's a kid that redshirted last year and has so much physical ability. And you hear guys talk about his athleticism. He's got the speed and athleticism. He's put on like 20 pounds since last year. So, again, not a true freshman, but a redshirt freshman. I'm anxious to possibly see.
And I don't know if he's a redshirt freshman or sophomore, but on kind of that same line of thinking. Now, this kid, Courtney Crutchfield, wasn't in Fayetteville last year. He was in Columbia. I mean, Petrino's pretty honest. He's like, yeah, he came in out of shape, 15 pounds, didn't know if he's going to play. Apparently he's kind of picked it up in fall. I know the wide receiver position is an unknown, at least from us talking about it. RD, do you see him having any impact this fall?
I think the rotation is going to be kind of deep, but at the same time, he has tremendous athleticism and ability. If he continues to mature and gets a little bit more discipline here or there, in all areas, as far as off the field, film study and route running and things like that, I think that'll help him see the field a little earlier. But again, probably is about as talented as about anybody on the team at the receiver position. It just when you're a younger player, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to mature and do all the things that off the field and even on the field during practice that you need to do to be able to see the field on Saturday.
Yeah. I was listening to Coach Petrino yesterday, and he was talking about the offensive line, and that it's probably as good a group. And I know they've been really, really high on these freshman offensive linemen, how strong they are with their hands, how big and physical they are for freshman players. Any of these freshmen that stand out to you and what's going on there when you just kind of look at some of the numbers and the guys that came in, at break. He was really big on the young kids he's got on the offensive line yesterday.
Yeah, Cash Courtney's the one that I've been high on for quite some time. Before he got to campus, he's pretty. Before he got on campus, he was pretty physically mature as far as his weight room numbers, and I'm sure they've improved since he's been on campus since January. And he had some pretty good reps back in the spring, and showed that he was able to physically hold up against some of the older defensive linemen at Arkansas. So he's one to keep an eye on in case something happens with the starter. And who knows? He may even push him. We'll see. But then let's see. Then you had Lionel, the last name, the kid from Shreveport, captain. I'm sorry, his last name kind of escapes me. But anyway, he's about 6'3", about 310, 320, and he played quarterback in the Wildcat formation in high school last year, and you just see some of his film just from the standpoint of his athleticism and his ability to move, and he scored several touchdowns, and you just saw a guy that's pretty nifty, with his footwork, even coming out of the Wildcat formation. You don't see too many offensive linemen at the Wildcat formation at quarterback, and that tells you what kind of athleticism he has. So I'm sure he's one that Coach Petrino likes.
Yeah, Blake Cherry was one that they got a name shout out yesterday, and one that was a freshman last year that started in the bowl game last year in Memphis and has battled recovery from a surgery is Colby Branham. They keep mentioning his name. It sounds like if he doesn't lock down a starting spot at right guard, he's going to be maybe one of those first guys that come in that 6 or 7 man group that play all the snaps on that offensive line.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I just remember seeing him before he got on campus, attending like a spring practice, and I thought that he was already. I hadn't seen Kobe in person and didn't know what he completely looked like other than just a few photos. But I just remember seeing him on the sideline, thinking, okay, this must be one of the offensive linemen's hurt or whatever. Well, no, I mean he was just going into his. He was about just finishing his junior season, and he's just a massive, thick kid, one of those type kids that you see at at Alabama or Georgia. And I just remember talking to a former high school coach before he got to campus, and he said, watch out for Kobe. He has a chance to even play as a freshman. And then this high school coach is pretty knowledgeable about what it takes to be an offensive lineman on the college level, and you just don't hear that very often about a guy, a coach saying, hey, he's got the possibility of even playing as a freshman. He did play as a freshman and more than held his own, and obviously another year of maturity is going to help. But, he is a thick kid and just a big butt offensive lineman that, like I said, looks like what you see at Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah. Well, Richard, great to talk with you. I know we're getting excited about the start of the season, and we'll catch up again next Wednesday.
All right, buddy. We'll see you guys.
All right, Richard Davenport with us, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette on Twitter at AR Recruiting Guy, joining us here on the Lewis Automotive Group Hotline. Tonight's brought to you by Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith and in Springdale.
Yeah, David and Larry both can help you when it comes to a new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle. Right now through Saturday, you can take advantage of state sales tax pay. They just, again, had tax-free weekend here in Arkansas on school supplies and various things. Well, they're helping you out with a road-ready certified vehicle, or you can check out their new selection at Rath Mitsubishi as well. You want to take advantage, again, state sales tax paid when you trade at both locations, both sides of the tunnel. Don't forget about the Meineke Car Care Center, which takes care of every part of your vehicle. They have great reviews at both locations. I think a 4.8 and a 4.9, and their car care centers take care of you. And I like to stop by, not just get oil changes, but everything else. Again, that's Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith and Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale, helping you whether it's getting started for school, this upcoming football season, new vehicle, pre-owned vehicle, again, road-ready certified. That goes through all those inspection checks. They've got you handled at Rath Auto Resources and Rath Mitsubishi. All right, any other beefs, Tommy, on a What's Your Beef Wednesday from you?
School traffic's going to be one as we move forward. Already day one, drop-off line, someone right in the middle, not sure what they were doing, weren't getting out of the car, had the entire drive-through backed up. So got to be self-aware when you're dropping the kids off. In, out, this isn't time for long goodbyes and deep sobbing cries. The other beef, this is on behalf of my children. They got an email from the school, and I guess a text too, reminding them of the new law in Arkansas that electronic devices, including cell phones, no longer allowed to be used at school during the day. So they were not happy about that at all. So that's a beef from the Kraft kids this morning on day one of school.
Well, I guess this is kind of a leftover beef. Didn't get to it last week. So the NCAA is not going to extend March Madness from 68 to 72 or 76, but they're thinking about it in 2027. They just keep trying to expand it and add teams that aren't going to compete for a national championship. We've talked about the college football playoff and the potential additions for that as well, which you or I don't think the 16th team is going to make the national championship or be in the national championship for that matter. Just the expansion, it almost, what it does to me is it hurts your regular seasons. College football had the best regular season for a number of years. And I was fine with going to 4 for the college football playoff, but and I know Ohio State won it this last year, and I forget if they were like a 7 or 8 seed, but rare is it, Tommy, you'll see anyone in the double digits, if at all, win the national championship from this new setup and formula. And the same could be said about additional teams in the NCAA tournament. I think you've only had 2 teams in the first 4 that have made the Final Four since they expanded, and I just don't expect it to add anything of value to the NCAA tournament.
I think we need to retract and go back to 64. I think expanding beyond that waters down the product. I don't like buys, of any type, and it's essentially, where you're going to get to at some point. So yeah, don't take away 3 of the best weeks in basketball, really 3 of the best weeks in sports, but 4 of the best days of the calendar year are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the opening weekend of March Madness. Don't mess that up. And the more you water it down, the more you're going to at some point just let them all in. It's just great. We shouldn't be messing with perfection. And I don't know that it's perfect, but those first 2 days especially, and I think the first 4 days of the tournament are about as joyous a day in sports as we have. Certainly 4 consecutive days. Don't go messing with that. And I fear that they're trying to milk more money out of it and raise money for the revenue sharing. I get all of that and why they need to do it, but they're going to end up messing up the product that has made us all so happy for so many years.
Yep, couldn't agree more on that.
Yeah.
So get your beefs in here this morning. We'll continue to take them the next 35 minutes or so here on the Morning Rush.
Hey, for decades, the Rebel Crawfish has been in the tackle box of all the anglers around the area. It's a tackle box staple. But now get ready for the next generation, including the new matte series of Rebel Crawfish, for all new ultra matte colors that eliminate glare and enhance realism, mimicking a natural crawfish like never before. The same iconic shape and swimming action, but now in stunning matte finishes. Upgrade to the all-new matte series of Rebel Crawfish today at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's Rebel. Catch fish anywhere.
When we come back, we'll get more into this John Mateer story, quarterback for Oklahoma, and what's going on there via from him, via from the school, and a few other things in our SEC update.
Everybody's talking about Richard's Meat Market because that's my spot. And, of course, Richard and Chris have been around forever.
What's Your Beef Wednesday is brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
I'll be with you, guys. Man, what a segue.
This is the Morning Rush.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Roback's got the gear for your perfect summer days.
Coast summers living on the run. Now the beachfront nights, 5,000 thunderstorms. Won't you kiss me, darling? Tell me that you're gonna stay. Yeah. Give me those East Coast summers, Maryland to Maine. Now the seaside.
Shop polos, hoodies, Q-zips, and much more in the American Summer Collection at Roback.com.
Roback made finding the perfect pair of pants or shorts much easier. They're a clean fit with comfortable premium fabric. They look great on and off the golf course. So shop at Roback.com for the Delta pants and shorts.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
Hey, it's Colton Little. Been trying to kill a little bit of time at work, so I logged on to MyBookie, and as the clock has ticked by, I've already made money, and I've already had a good time. They've got tons of great stuff on there. I'm talking about blackjack, roulette, live dealers, poker, and a full lineup of slots. They didn't make me download an app. All I had to do was just log in, made a quick deposit, and then I was playing games and winning money. If you're thinking about checking out MyBookie, you should have done it yesterday. Use the promo code HOGS, and they'll toss you a nice deposit match of up to $1,000. And now you can bet on the Hogs all season long with MyBookie.
While supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The SEC is the best conference in America.
The tough will survive in this game, and I feel like the SEC is the toughest.
Arkansas is the SEC champion.
You know, every game is a dogfight.
We're about to be tough there, yes. Week in and week out, you're going to play some of the best, the biggest, the fastest.
The Hogs have finally held the first SEC tournament championship for Arkansas.
Where opponents' dreams come to die.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
All right, so John Mateer has put out this statement. Oklahoma quarterback, for those that missed it, there were some allegations that surfaced from his Venmo account from 3 years ago that he was betting on sports. Here is his statement. The allegations that I once participated in sports gambling are false, he wrote. My previous Venmo descriptions did not accurately portray the transactions in question, but were instead inside jokes between me and my friends. I have never bet on sports. I understand the seriousness of this matter, but recognize that this was taken out of context. Those Venmo descriptions suggest otherwise. I can assure my teammates, coaches, and officials at the NCAA, important note there, Tommy, that I have not engaged in any sports gambling. I don't think he would get suspended by Brent Venables or Joe Castiglione or anyone else there, but if the NCAA did find wrongdoing, then there might be a possibility that he's suspended from them.
So who did the money go to? And how much was it? I mean, in the end, I tend to believe what he's saying because I don't think anyone would be as stupid as to be what's suggested. At least he's not saying wasn't me, it was AI, so you can kind of rule that out. Whether it's a joke or not, I just still have a hard time believing you could be either stupid enough to list it that way in your Venmo or stupid enough to think that was a joke. I'm not sure which is dumber. They're both dumb. But I have a hard time believing anyone that was seriously engaging and betting on sports as an athlete would pay in Venmo, number one, and then number two, use the word sports gambling and list the game. I mean, that just doesn't make sense either to me.
Well, here would be the flip side to that. So, I mean, do you know what your Venmo transactions say if you use it? I mean, I feel
because that you type it in.
No, I'm saying, do you, like, off the top of your head, do you remember from 3, 4, 5 years ago?
It says things like haircut, golf, things of that nature. I don't even generally type in those words. An emoji will pop up and you put it on there. But if me and you bet on a game, I'm not going to put sports gambling. I'm going to put the word bet. I'm going to put the words. I'm going to put something probably more hip and cool at 19 years old, 18 years old than the words sports gambling.
Have an emoji, a cash emoji or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, does it make sense that's the way an 18 or 19-year-old would talk about it?
To me, it does.
Well, maybe I'm out of touch.
To me,
that doesn't make any sense at all to me.
He probably just didn't think there's no one that's going to monitor this. There's no one going to do that.
All you got to do is click that thing to private. That's the other thing. If I'm doing something I know could get me in trouble, I'm going to put it on private.
Yeah. No, there's truth to that. I think there's a lot of truth.
That's absolute truth. I'm not going to incriminate myself there, knowing that it could cause me just nothing about this makes sense. It's all stupid.
All right. Well, I don't know if there's anything that's going to happen in Norman with their starting quarterback, but it is a situation worth monitoring, being that he's one of the more highly coveted transfer quarterbacks. Brent Venables is on the hot seat, and they're right next door from Norman. to Arkansas. All right, continue on your SEC update. Last season, Taylon Green had a lot of issues with ball control. Here's Bobby Petrino yesterday about him and his other teammates just taking care of the ball.
Yeah, we're working hard at it, and certainly some of the turnovers that we had last year, cost you games. And I think some of that is, knowing the game better, understanding how I need to take care of the ball, how if I throw the ball away, I get to the next play. So I don't panic and I have poise, and which I thought he did as the year went on, and improved really well on that. And so we'll definitely have to take care of the ball better.
They were one of the worst teams in Power 5 in that category. I guess Power 4 last season. Taylon turned the ball over a lot. You think about some of the games. Again, Arkansas, Phil had this great stat a couple weeks ago on halftime. So I think they forced 15 turnovers, Tommy. 10 of those were in the Auburn and Mississippi State games. Mm-hmm. So 2/3 of your turnovers came in 2/3 of your turnovers came in 2 games last season.
Yeah,
a sixth of your schedule. And that's like a situation where you didn't force a lot of turnovers and you turned over the ball a lot. And you had, I think you were 1-3 in 1-score games last season, if I remember that right. So, I know it's been a point of emphasis from T. Will. He talked about some length in the secondary that they have this year they didn't have last year. I know Xavier Story was talking about, hey, we got to rip the ball out. We got to force some more turnovers. And it's been a point for Taylon and Coach Petrino on the offense. Like, we got to hold on the football. I mean, geez Louise, we got to hold on the football.
That's kind of like saying, hey, I had 3 birdies on the front 9, but you don't tell any part about the 4 triple bogeys, Well, that doesn't really put the whole thing into context. Hey, we had 17 offensive rebounds in the first half. Well, you missed a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So, stats can lie to you, and that's a good number on the turnover in totality, but the fact that they were condensed to 2 games doesn't really put the effectiveness of it. It paints a different picture than the true effectiveness of your team in that way.
All right, last thing here in your SEC update. Which SEC coach does not make it through the year? I cannot envision another season, back-to-back years, where you do not have a single firing of an SEC football coach, being with what's on the line. And I know money and athletics and a lot of things have changed in the year 2025, and people were getting ready last year in 2024. Tommy, would you bet on it to happen again, or would you pinpoint and say this coach is not making it through the year?
Let me clarify. You say through the year, so you mean fired before the end of November?
Yeah, but we'll put it to December. Like, if you want to say they're fired after the season, but I'm talking about like they're not making it to 26. If you want some better context.
Well, Kalen DeBoer is somebody that, and I don't know if I put him on the hottest seat in this league, but he's got a lot of expectations, and they have the money. I think about the money too with rev share. These coaches' contracts that were written in some ways prior to that or without the leverage to really factor that in. I don't care where you're really at. I mean, there's few schools that it doesn't matter, but there's more schools that it does. Can you afford to buy out your current staff's contracts and then go buy out someone else's to make them your head coach? So I don't think it'll be as big a turnover as maybe you're envisioning or hoping for, perhaps. Because I think schools are trying to figure out how to still finance all this new rev share, cutting staff, cutting expenses. The last thing you need to sign up for is another big buyout. And then you're just hoping, at that point, you're just hoping everyone you're paying to not be there gets a job somewhere to get you off the hook. And that doesn't always work out either.
I agree with Jody and Harrison, who's texting in here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline about Hugh Freeze. And I was talking, I forget what Auburn media member I was talking to, but they've changed the buyout because Malzahn's was rough, Harson's was pretty tough, but Freeze, like, in order for him to get back as a head coach in the SEC, there were some things that he had to consent to in his contract that he probably wouldn't have if he had more leverage or more power. So I think Auburn, the way that buyout is set up and structured, is a lot less. It's still bad. I mean, it's still a college football SEC buyout. But there is a lot. I mean, you think about what Auburn's done the past 2 years. A lot of similar issues as Arkansas: turnovers, 1-score game losses. I mean, this could be a situation for the third time for an SEC, with the exception of Malzahn. Malzahn wouldn't let go because of the Arkansas game because it usually beat Arkansas. But you think about Gene Chizik, you think about Brian Harsin, and it could be a setup where Hugh Freeze, if he loses that game in Fayetteville on October the 25th, that could oust him in Auburn, depending on how their season's going.
Or at least be part of the equation. Again, I think we need to pump the brakes on a little bit of how we've traditionally thought about how we're going to make decisions to fire coaches. I just think that when it's a closer call than we think, or or from the outside looking in, well, that's not meeting the fans' expectations. Well, what is the administration? What is their expectations truly? And we don't always know though, but because balancing the books today in college athletics has gotten tougher than it's ever been before. And I'm just telling you, the patience is going to not grow thin. I think patience will grow thicker as a result of this, and schools will be a little more reserved on just blowing a coach out because he was 8-4. I just think the business side of this is going to factor in at some point, and I think it already has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely did last year. We'll see if it does for a second consecutive year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's your SEC update brought to you by Sterling Bank. When it comes to banking, you deserve a pleasant and productive experience that puts you first, and that's exactly what you're going to find every time you visit at Sterling Bank. They're your community bank. They're right here in Northwest Arkansas with top-notch customer service. Every transaction when you come to Sterling Bank feels personal because they're not just your bankers. They're in that school line at traffic with you. They go to church. They live in your same subdivisions. Sterling Bank is deeply committed to the people, the businesses, and the organizations that make NWA thrive. And their passion for growth and progress fuels everything they do. Hey, if you're looking for a local, friendly bank that fits your needs, visit Sterling Bank, Fayetteville, Rogers, and in Bentonville. And you can learn more at stirbank.bank. STRbank.bank. Sterling Bank, invested in you and committed to NWA.
Brian's in Ozark this morning here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Brian, good morning. Brian? All right, I guess he hung up. Well, we were going to go to Brian in Ozark and see what he had to say. I don't know if it was going to be positive or negative. I guess we'll
he had your $100.
Yeah, he still owes me. Apparently, he's going to be at Hardee's, where we'll be on Friday and Saturday. We'll be at the Phoenix location in Fort Smith, getting ready for the 20th annual football trip of a lifetime and the Morning Rush Live, which will be there as well. One thing that I didn't get to yesterday that I did want to mention because it was a part of my life. Tommy, did you see after 34 years that dial-up is discontinuing?
Yeah, it was AOL, I think, is just getting. I didn't even know it still existed.
Me neither.
And I wonder how many connections they were still getting to dial-up internet. I mean, who even has phone lines anymore?
Well, I was talking with Dwayne at Hardee's yesterday, and he was talking about how we used to have to use a tie line to go through the ceiling and phone line stuff like that. And then I thought about my grandmother, my mamaw, that used to live outside of Hattieville, and the dial-up that she used to have. Now, fiber, as you've talked about, has been more prominent post-COVID, and that's one of the things that have happened. But yeah, dial-up was such a pain. I remember having to do things on her computer and how long it took, but that was the only way to reach out there.
But we didn't play we didn't play games with graphics then. We didn't stream movies. We didn't watch TV that way.
Yeah.
We sent an email. Maybe we chatted. There wasn't video chat. You think about the things that you do now on the internet. I mean, we're broadcasting this show via the internet. That wasn't even a thought back late 90s, early 2000s.
Worldwide, baby. Worldwide, as always.
Here we are.
I think that the deal with some of these old, outdated, let's dial up, like IM. You remember instant messaging, MySpace, like some of these apps, some of these devices, some of these pieces of software that I just, as a kid or as a teenager or as a young adult, I thought were going to last forever. It's crazy how things have changed here in the last couple decades. And I know since you've been alive, there's been a lot of change in dynamics, and then obviously a lot of listeners before you that would say the same thing. But technology, man, it continuously changes, and dial-up going by the wayside because of it.
Well, I think about my great-grandparents that were born at the turn of the 1800s going into the 1900s that literally rode in a horse-drawn buggy to go to town, and they lived long enough from that childhood in 1900, 1901, that era, to seeing cars come about, to watching a man go on the moon, to the end of their life, the beginning of the computer age. Who will have more change in their life? My great-grandparents' generation, born in that time, or, my kids' generation that is watching all of technology unfold, fiber, now AI. You think about who's going to have more change in their lifetime. I'm not sure, but I think about it in those terms. Horse and buggy to man on the moon to the computer, to computer all the way to AI, and who knows what's still to come in the next 30 or 40 years. Hey, the last holiday weekend of the summer is coming up. And you don't want to miss Labor Day weekend. Pool parties, backyard barbecues. Ty, maybe you got a trip to the lake after the game on that Saturday. Labor Day weekend has become a traditional time for family and friends to get together. Sadly, the holiday has also become one of the deadliest times in Arkansas, with drunk drivers endangering themselves and the lives of others. We all know it's illegal to drive with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or higher, and if you do, the consequences are severe. Not only do you lose your license and go to jail, but you'll pay court costs, attorney's fees, and fines that will cost you thousands of dollars. You'll also be restricted to driving your car with an ignition interlock, and that means you got to blow into a device that detects alcohol in your system before your car will even start. That sounds cool, doesn't it? Yeah. So if you don't want to have that kind of Labor Day weekend, and you have to pay to put that in your car, by the way, as well, don't drink and drive this holiday weekend. Enjoy the Labor Day weekend that's coming up, but think before you drink, drive sober, or get pulled over. Ty, this message brought to you by the Arkansas State Police.
KJ didn't take driver's ed, so he don't know anything about aim high and driving. He didn't know anything about keeping my eyes down there, and
That was Coach Petrino when they were talking about the VR a little bit. You were talking about earlier. Talon apparently had to convince him of it, hoping it pays off for not just Talon Green if KJ Jackson's able to get in this season. But I guess I did a little bit. I think it was at high school that I did a little bit some sort of driving seminar. I don't know if I necessarily took a bunch of classes with driver's ed, but I did get a kick out of Petrino talking about that, about KJ Jackson.
I had to take one just to get the insurance to be affordable.
You know what? You're right. Yep. I'd forgotten about that. You're right. Because I remember in order for similar circumstance to get the insurance down, that was a thing.
I'm doing driving lessons now with Dylan. So he's 15, soon to be a licensed driver. So we're going through that, driving out in the parking lots. They're trying to find safe places to teach him. Hey, we were talking about being on the roads a minute ago. Gaston's is a great road trip coming up this Labor Day weekend. Call now and make reservations at Gaston's. Got a long weekend. Maybe if you're not going to the Alabama A&M game, you sneak out a little early on Friday. You get to Gaston's. You can do a half-day trip Saturday morning after a great breakfast overlooking the White River. Fish till noon, then settle in and watch great college football the rest of Saturday. You could fish Sunday, stay the night, have a great great brunch there as well, then head home on Monday. Sounds like a pretty good kind of summer finale at Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. I wouldn't wait too many more days. So that sounds like a great way to wind down summer. Call today and book your reservation. 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
Well, he's talking about Richard's Meat Market because that's my spot. And, of course, Richard and Chris have been around forever.
What's Your Beef Wednesday is brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Online at richardscountrymeatmarket.com.
I'll face with you, Ty.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic World scratch-off games from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. So get down to your local lottery retailer today, and welcome to Jurassic World. Must be 18 or older to play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
At the Bet Saracen Sportsbook app, we realize lots of you have thought about opening an account, but you just haven't made that move yet. Well, now's the time with our new player offer. It's easy. You just sign up, use the code WELCOME, deposit at least $25, place a $25 bet, and that's it. Once that bet settles, you'll have $125 in free bets ready to go. Bet Saracen, the most popular sportsbook app in the state. Download it today on all your devices. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
You guys are the best. This is the Morning Rush.
Hey everyone, David Rath here with Rath Auto Resources. Since the state's giving you a tax-free weekend, we figured we'd do even better. 3 weekends of state sales tax paid when you trade, and all the weekdays in between. Just bring in your old car and upgrade to the road-ready certified pre-owned vehicle of your choice and get state sales tax paid. Get state sales tax paid when you trade, now through August 16th. Just another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, rathautofortsmith.com.
Dozy Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Dozy Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
At Wave Rural Connect, our mission's simple: improve the quality of life in our communities. We've expanded to several non-member areas to help new communities. If you live in areas near Altus, Branch, Coxville, Mountainburg, Murray, Spur, or Ozark, Wave Rural Connect may be available to you right now. Check availability online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Wave Rural Connect will continue opening new areas throughout 2025.
Looking for the perfect gift that's personal and powerful? The Solid Rock has you covered. From custom laser-engraved cutting boards and coasters to travel mugs and keepsakes. Each piece is made with care and personalized just for your special occasion, whether it's a wedding, birthday, anniversary, or just because. They help you give gifts that inspire, engraved with names, scriptures, or messages that honor Christ. Shop the Solid Rock, located next to Sam's Club on South 74th and Fort Smith. The Solid Rock, serving the River Valley for over 49 years.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
All right, final segment here on the Morning Rush. We got some more Petrino stuff we're going to get into as well as we continue on What's Your Beef Wednesday.
Hey, do you want to spruce up your existing home or start from the ground up? Either way, check with Farm Credit. of Western Arkansas first before you get started, and find out why for more than 100 years Farm Credit of Western Arkansas has helped local families just like yours make their dream home come true. Visit myaglender.com or stop in any of the 25 locations today for Farm Credit of Western Arkansas.
Jay Brown is the fastest guy out there.
That was Bobby Petrino talking about former Bentonville High Schooler standout C.J. Brown, who was a freshman last year, didn't get in a lot of action, and now is expected to take an expanded role this season.
Hold on to that ball, young fella.
Yeah,
Hold on to that ball.
He dropped that one early on in the season, then he fumbled it against Texas. Those are unfortunately the two notable things that Razorback fans remember. I'm really hoping that he is just hacked off, ticked off, and has himself quite a sophomore. I can't remember if he's a redshirt freshman or sophomore, but a second season here in Fayetteville.
Yeah. It's been a What's Your Beef Wednesday brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Their phone number is 479-443-0000 to place your order for everything that goes on the grill. RichardsCountryMeatMarket.com or stop in at 3042 North Market Avenue in Fayetteville, 1 block east of College and Rolling Hills Drive.
Missed our conversation with Richard Davenport? It will be in the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. We've had plenty of beefs that we've gotten into today. Colton joined us in hour number 1 on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline talking about Landry Carter-Little, who came.
Yeah.
It was healthy and really excited for him, Gabby, and the rest of the Little family. So happy for him and his entire group. That's going to do it for us. For Christian Johnston, Tommy Kraft, I'm Ty Richardson. Halftime with Matt, Phil, and Big C is next.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic World scratch-off games from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting